Fighting with the violent leftists, leaving law-abiding Americans vulnerable. Enter the Constitution's Second Amendment. Joining me now is Second Amendment advocate and the second in command at Texas Gun Rights, Kyle Rittenhouse, and president of Texas Gun Rights, Chris McNut. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Happy New Year. Kyle, I want to begin with you. I want to ask you, you first, because, well, you've been in this similar situation as these ICE agents are. You have had your life threatened by leftists, and you were forced to respond. As left-wing police departments tarnish their reputations, badges, and the public trust to help criminal illegal aliens while they ignore violence from the left, as we saw in the Nick Sortor case, by the way, isn't our Second Amendment important now more than ever?
Well, Chris, thank you first off for having us on. And absolutely, our Second Amendment is more important now than it has ever been. We saw how violent the left was 5 years ago when they tried to kill me on the streets in Kenosha. They've only gotten worse. They've resorted to assassination attempts against our president, assassinations against Charlie Kirk, and now they're rioting over a ICE officer who was forced to defend himself when a violent leftist mobilized her 2-ton vehicle against him and tried to take his life away and other people's lives away from them when he defended himself. Our Second Amendment is constantly under attack, and we must do everything we can to preserve it.
Mr. McNutt, doesn't the betrayal of folks like Sheriff Rochelle Bilal of Philadelphia and Police Chief Bob Day of Portland underscore the reality that Americans are the first responders to criminals, and that the next time the government fails, all Americans had better be armed?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And, you know, it's interesting that now the left understands why we have a Second Amendment, and it's to be able to push back against the tyrannical government. Unfortunately, this is not that situation.
Yeah, I understand that this is right now, these ICE agents are out there enforcing law, which is what the left wing doesn't want. Kyle, you've been out of the spotlight for a while, and recently you got married. Congratulations, by the way. You posted on X that you've stepped back into the fight and you joined Texas Gun Rights after seeing what happened to Charlie Kirk. You already invoked his name once. Explain everything. How come that drove you to get back into the fight?
What happened on September 10th was a day that changed the trajectory of my life forever, and hopefully for the greater good. With time, we'll be able to tell. But on September 10th, I was working a normal job when Charlie Kirk was brutally assassinated by a violent leftist for using his First Amendment right, for using his freedom of speech, for going out there and debating. And seeing that made me disgusted. It made me no longer want to be silent. It made me no longer want to sit on the sidelines. And that's when I reached out to Chris, who's like a father figure to me. And I said, Chris, I want to get back into the fight. Can I come back to Texas? And we started coming up with a game plan and building a team around us so we can successfully do this, and I can pick up the mic and I can use my voice and I can encourage other people to use their voices as well. I'm here in Texas because we're going to be at the legislature, we're going to be at the ballot boxes, and we're going to be pushing for pro-Second Amendment rights, a cause that I truly believe in, and I'm not going to be silent about it. I'm not going to be afraid, and I'm going to do it all for the grace of God, in God's eyes, what he has planned for us.
Mr. McNutt, your organization, Texas Gun Rights, I'm very proud to know and support, is fighting for the right of every American to defend themselves, like Kyle had to do about 5 years ago. But we in Texas are burdened with some fake Republicans. You know one of them. His name is John Cornyn, who works with leftists to steal those rights of self-defense. What is your take on the actions of the left-wing senator from Texas and what he has done with his power in the U.S. Senate?
Well, he's completely abandoned gun owners. He spearheaded the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act with Democrat Chris Murphy, which President Biden, or actually I'm just going to call him the Biden administration. I still don't like to refer to him as president.
Auto pen.
Yeah, auto pen. Auto pen referred to it as the most expansive gun control to pass in 3 decades. And more or less what it did, it helped incentivize states to pass red flag gun confiscation laws without due process. So Senator Cornyn was at the spear of that fight. And not only that, his weak on the border stance and years of open border policies under Biden have led directly to all of this unrest that we're dealing with in Minneapolis and across the country right now. And it's absolutely despicable.
Yeah. He seemed to indicate that President Trump's border barrier was dumb because he said he favored something called a smart wall, not what President Trump was doing. I have no idea what he means by that. Maybe during the primary contest in Texas, he'll be forced to explain that. Kyle Rittenhouse and Chris McNut, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate the time as always. Coming up, federal. You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.